just choking on machinery. Mere grist to feed the machinery. Fairy tales and useless fables. Prayers at the children's table. It ends with us dead.
Finally, welcome to edition 77 of Bebo Knows. If you've been with us the past hour, you could understand I'm a little upset that it took this long to start. You guys can hear me now, right? Okay, good.
One fucking viewer, 5 viewers. Oh boy!
Wow. All right, here we go. Finally, let's not kill the momentum now. So we had to have Lou start a YouTube channel here for us. So thank you very much for that, Lou Fart Noise. This is Bebo Knows Podcast 77. Finally, figured let's just do the live version because that's what the market wants. So we're all about the markets here. So let's just get into our favorite moments from 2015 because there was quite a bit going on in 2015. A lot of degen quality tweets, a lot of new faces appearing out of the woodwork as far as experts go. But I'm gonna Groove, and I'll start with you. What stood out to you as the highlights of 2015 from a brand or a Twitter or whatever it is, whatever you'd like to describe perspective?
A couple of them I'll mention later because they'll fit in there, but like Vegas Stave and some of the DFS nonsense. But I think not my favorite, I mean it's fucking disgusting, but just in sheer inanity, the fact that pregame was having their official record keeper being a pedophile that had a child pornography conviction, and not just a little borderline under the age of 12. And you tell people that, like, oh, you guys make shit up.
Wait, is that bad? Is that bad?
No. I draw the line myself at about 16. 12, that's a little gross. But and they obviously knew about it because his last name was censored on their forum. And when it came out, I don't know who, some guy eventually outed it. And whoever that guy was, false accusations and just blew it under the rug. I mean, there are lines you don't cross. That's kind of one of them. I don't think I can say anything more than that.
How do you enable chat?
That's a good question. I think there's a button on the top left that says chat. I don't know if you have to enable that since you're technically the host of Bebo Knows 77 now.
I put group chat on, then I put test, and no one replied, so I don't know if only I can do it or...
Okay. Well, I've never tried the chat because the video was complicated enough. I couldn't manage a chat for the life of me, so...
Well, there are only 2 tracks on the train, one for audio, one for video. Chat is just right out of the question, so that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just keep talking while you figure it out.
Oh shit.
Off the Twitter bullshit and this one. Oh, I did get suspended like 5 more times on Twitter. Congrats and cheers. Other than that, the Las Vegas, in terms of the sports betting climate and how they will accept betting, is just getting more and more down the shitter. Caesars in the fall started cutting off countless people, and we're not talking like Billy Walters type bettors that are taking them for millions. I mean, people don't realize the attitude of these books. If you're just, a relatively skilled bettor who knows how to identify a line a half point off, they're going to start cutting you off or cut you to $500, $1,000 limits, which, if that's how they choose to do business, whatever. But then meanwhile, you have, those 2 douchebags at Cantor, Holt and Simbal, bragging how, oh yeah, we take 6-figure action. Well, no, you take 6-figure action from people they're clueless. They're handpicked, and they're idiots. You are not taking anything resembling six-figure action from anyone that knows what they're doing. I know people that were getting $5,000 basketball bets rejected at Cantor that were a penny worse than Pinnacle. Like, they're taking a price worse than Pinnacle has, and Cantor's not taking it, and they're moving the line. And then meanwhile, you got Holt go, we take the biggest limits in the world, not like those illegal books. That clown Symbols, mocking me personally with McIntyre. Oh yeah, these guys, all they do is anonymously criticize. They don't use their real names. Well, you want me to use my real name when you're not even taking action? Like, come on. And every year, Vegas betting gets worse and worse. And I'm not even out there, but people I know are obviously, and they're basically going to what I would call the United Kingdom model, where they want to profile their customers and not their lines, where they shade lines to, promote square action by giving worse lines on the square side, and then cut off anyone smart enough to identify, the line that's off.
Okay, Lou, do you have any thoughts on your highlights of 2015, or what 2015 meant to you on your brand? I know you were a big proponent of DFS.
Well, you said bigot, and that was correct the first time. I don't know how the fuck you enable chat. This is so fucking gay. Yeah, pretty much. I think more and more people are realizing like how fucking fake everyone is. Like, even us, we suck. But like, fucking, I have a column in TweetDeck solely dedicated to like Todd Furman and RJ Bell's mentions, and just random people who I've never interacted just saying like, you're a fucking liar to like Todd and RJ, and it just makes me really happy. And then all the fucking DFS faggots like Peter Jennings and all these like guys who are just like, they're just riding this really quick wave before it all comes tumbling down. And like, God bless him for fucking trying to earn like some money like in something that's gonna not exist in this form in like a couple of months. But like, you're fucking so like, there's just shit so fake. Like my favorite part of the year, I think my favorite event was the DFS rally in Lower Manhattan. Like I think like those fucking fat apes just standing there like holding the signs that they were and like there was a ton of employees from like FanDuel and DraftKings. Like there were people who were paid to be there, and they're just like these fucking slobs, and and it's just, it was glorious just to see like these are the people who and listen, I'm sure that we don't look much different than that. No. But I would never stand outside, and I would never stand outside holding fucking signs saying like fucking, I don't even know what like the judges fucking, I don't know, court is a game of skill. The fucking signs were so dumb, but it was amazing. Just DFS Twitter is my spirit animal.
Okay, and speaking of looks, yeah, it's getting a look of you. I think we represent the DFS nation pretty well, at least how I expect us to look. Maybe not our promotion of it exactly, but we probably look like DFS players to most people.
No, we are. If I was wearing sweatpants and a T-shirt and holding a sign, I would pretty much pass for the people that were outside at that rally, which was, it was like the complete opposite of Black Lives Matter. It was it was just perfect.
All right, so let's go into some other 2015 stuff. The stuff that's going on right now, where we have the brackets going on with DGen Tweet of the Year. And do you guys know roughly how many entries you have in that?
Mugu?
I believe I had 9. Most of them I'm not even so sure about. A few weren't even mine. The person I'll call the mad Photoshopper sent me a few things to upload because he didn't want people giving him shit for the Photoshop. So like the Obama in front of the DraftKings, that was one of them. The only two that kind of stuck out to me, and the one I got a 4th seed, so I'm happy about that one, was the Kelly in Vegas, as everyone knows, buys every half point she can. So I said we should call the concept of buying half points Kelly in Vegas half point value, KIV HPV. which maybe people read into that a bit. I don't know, but it got a lot of retweets and got a 4th seed. And I can't complain about seeding because I did get 9 entries, but the one that I think will die an early exit that I'm a little sad about was my, RJ Bell's on ESPN asking him, so how's Kentucky going to do? And he's like, well, my pro bettors say that this Kentucky is not an all-time team. The line against Indiana 1974 would be +5, against UCLA 78 +7, which is, worthless because it literally means nothing and it's rectally extracted. So I tweeted, I'm going to be making a really big bet on Kentucky, Kentucky -1.5 versus UCLA 1968. Here's why. 2 people in UCLA 1968 are dead. That's kind of a handicap.
I think that's my favorite. I think that was my favorite tweet of yours from the year, personally.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. It's a 22 seed and it's a tough draw, which is fine. I mean, Jacob's got to deal with 256 tweets. Everything's going to get a little underseed. I don't care.
That has to be the most he's had in a bracket, right?
Oh, I think last year was like 32.
Yeah, it was. He expanded it for no reason.
I mean, personally, I would have cast my other 7 aside, or and put that one up. But not all my efforts are great. I tweet a lot of stupid shit. But
were you allowed to nominate your own tweets for promotion for that?
Well, you can always promote your own shit, but Jacob is the final arbiter of what gets picked. So there's no submission process. It's just hashtag fucking Dottie15 and hope for the best.
Yeah, all right.
I don't even care. I mean, no one should read my tweets anyway. Really.
I'm just saying, greatest ghost of all time. Yeah.
No one should tweet at all.
No.
To be honest.
So stupid, this fucking
So
thing.
yeah. So what aspect? So do you think Jacob did okay with the seeding from what you saw?
Oh, I think you had to deal with 169 tweets. Looks fine to me.
Yeah, he underseeds me on purpose, but it's okay because it's really who gives a shit. But I really think that we could really use a play. I think it's going to upset the fucking Trump-Philly Godfather pairing. I really have a good feeling about this. In no tournament in human history has a 32 seed upset a 1 seed. So I'd like to just kind of like when the Red Sox came back from 3-0, like that never happened. So I'm really excited to take down a 1.
Yeah. So you put yourself on top of the most likely list to do that. To be the top?
most of my shit, the stuff that I contribute to this nonsense is people either like lashing out at me or things that I find and retweet that I'm more behind the scenes guy in terms of the greatest stuff. But I'm pretty steady in terms of my normal shit. It's really bad normally, so I think that I help out. But Jacob underseeds me, and Beirut has just quoted me on Twitter. Yes, he does underseed me on purpose. He's admitted that numerous times. It's a sham. It's really a sham.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
All right, so
one thing I forgot to mention, I actually find it more interesting, which Lou just said. I actually find it more interesting when the tweets are directed at me than anything I can say. And on the one side of the bracket, I think that was just voted on today, both the number 1 and the 2 were both directed at me. The idiot from the Greek, who I like animals more than you do, and the doctor. Those are the Dr. Miller. They're 1 and 2 in that bracket, and they were both directed at me, which I find more. My contribution is less what I say and more how I can make these idiots reveal themselves to be idiots. And
now, just for the record, that cunt is a fucking horror show. I fucking can't stand her. Fucking Dr. Miller. Like, you're fucking stupid. What an asshole.
all this makes me want to go back to school and become a neuroscientist, Well,
yeah, I want to become a neuroscientist and then
get our master's in economics too. We got to do that one.
Oh,
she called me Mrs. Bullock the day of the.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that, right?
probably because you have nice tits.
Well, I do expose my skin a lot on here. I'm not too shy about that. And,
I mean,
yeah.
the worst part about some of these people, like with her, I was not even remotely rude to her. I just said, you are using a line that use different pictures, and it isn't from Vegas. It's from an offshore book called Bet Online that puts out their lines very early, so it had different pictures. Rather,
Fucking train, fucking train, fucking train.
Yeah, there were no trains in the burbs when we hung out.
No, that was very nice of you driving an hour to fucking see my stupid ass. Super weird.
Worst decision ever.
Yeah, pretty bad. Is Bullock in his bathroom? Yes, most likely.
Who was asking that?
I can't even keep up.
Yeah. All right. So, what were you saying, Groovin, or did the train make you lose your train of thought?
Oh no, just that these with the DFS people, like she's obviously one of the most. I mean, I just can't imagine going through life with that kind of attitude that any sort of correction, that no matter how polite and that I'm wrong, is going to be met with insults. Like, what is wrong with these people?
But here, Groovin, too, I'm actually going to somewhat defend these monkeys. Like, you gotta realize, I think they realize that, like, this shit is fucking a limited time offer, so they really need to, like, clamp down on dissent and make sure that people don't, like, hey, I can make like a couple of $1,000 or like $10,000 like in the next 6 months just doing this, like, because that's, and these people do not make.
I get that, but even in there are plenty of other people, like Furman does the same thing.
Yeah, well, Furman's fucking.
You are like rather.
Furman's dad's a fucking thief.
Right, but like.
By the way, I'd like to nominate that as one of my favorite stories of the year. Is that if my snooping is correct, then that his dad went to jail for.
That's Mark Furman. Yeah, he's in jail for insider trading or securities fraud or something like that.
Yeah, regarding Swiss franc. So I like to make Swiss franc comments to Todd. I think that's like father like son. Fuck both of them.
So who came up with Tude, by the way?
God, I don't know. We've been so stupid for so long.
I actually, because people keep asking me, so I searched back. I think it was actually Lou. Like, I found it from like 2 years ago. I only searched on the T00D. But yeah.
Then we started using like every variation of O in the iPhone dictionary, like with the cross and the dots and the umlaut and shit.
You want to search back on just TOO because you get too many typos on the actual name Todd. But yeah, it's like searching for Egyptian hieroglyphics or something.
We have 53 viewers, by the way. This is really this is really stupid.
So, as going back to the DGen tweets of the year, what is your personal Final Four, and who do you guys think will win it? I'll start with you, Thick.
I don't know the bracket. The bracket's too fucking big. I really think, I think that fucking Fezzik's plea to hire me. I think that is, no bias. I think that's my favorite fucking tweet of the year. Just like his fucking broke ass cuckold motherfucker. Like hire me. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're a fucking low level actuary. Go fuck yourself. He's just so pompous and cunty. It's fun to hate him because he's such a big-headed fucking water-headed fuck. Oh my god. Yeah, Groovin, if you can do a good Fezzik imitation, I'll fucking eat my hat.
That might take a bit. The Fezzik that I used to know didn't have the false teeth, like he lost the teeth and now has the dentures. So that new list with I don't know, it's much tougher to do that list with the dentures. Maybe if this podcast is still around, by football season, which God, I hope I'm not around by next football season. But if I am and the podcast is, maybe I can work on that. I mean, he has these dentures that have that weird lisp, and I can't figure that one out. My favorite of mine has to be the Oskheim, the child tout one. Because,
yeah, that's not bad.
I mean,
I remember where I was for that one. I was That's one of those where you remember where you were when they happened.
And because I had been, I mean, I knew the guy was a fraud, so I just tracked for a little bit, and I knew I'd catch him eventually. And then I'm like, wait, there were 2 pending pics that disappeared. What happened? So I told someone who wasn't blocked, and he mentions it, and Oscar goes, "Oh yeah, my kid grabbed the phone." And like, how stupid do you think, your people are?
He grabbed the phone and then fucking made 2 plays, and those plays both lost.
And even if it did, like, let's just assume that it really happened. Well, wouldn't the first thing you do would say, hey, there was even, you don't want to say, oh, gee, my kid grabbed my phone, then just say, we had a computer error. There are 2 pics up for sale that were just released. Don't buy those. Don't bet them. It's an accident. I will correct it. Like, isn't that what any normal person would do if their kid happened to grab their phone?
I mean, but the crazy thing is, like, apparently, if that's all if that was, like, if you were a small business owner and that fucking happened, and, like, say you were like a fucking, like a landscaper, and, like, yeah, I sent an accidental email, email had wrong prices, wouldn't you fucking immediately be like, oh shit, sorry, there was an error, fucking, like, I gotta fix this right away, but, like, this is all he does. That's apparently, like, his, if he posts like it's his fucking lifeblood. And you see, my kid
on his website, he says, "This is all I do for a living. Unlike those people with day jobs, so you have my full-time attention."
Yeah, except my fucking kid at my phone, because God. I think we made fun of his kid more than we made fun of Schatz's daughter, though. So I mean, there's that.
Well, that's me. I'm the one that made fun of Schatz's daughter.
Fucking what a. And I've met him in person too, and so has Mel Betts. So,
Wait, Schatz or Oscar?
Schatz.
Oh.
Yeah, I met him at Sloan a couple of years ago, and it's just like I don't know. He's exactly how you think he would be.
Yeah. People like that, I actually feel bad for, because he's obviously a very depressed individual who is kind of yearning for attention. But if you're going to act like, using your disabled kids as an excuse, that's a little bit over the line as far as I'm concerned. I mean, that's...
a lot of things he does are over the line, but, like, it's really, I feel bad for him just because, like, he has no transferable skills.
Right.
Like, there's no, although fucking Nate Silver got his own website, so why doesn't fucking, like, CNN hire Schatz to lead, like, 523 and .com or something like that, and because Schatz is at least better on TV than Nate Silver, who fucking was withering away behind, like, right in front of our eyes. Poor little dude.
There wasn't any Schatz tweets this year, was there? On that list, I don't think so. I don't remember any.
He just says the same thing over here. Who are you to say how I feed my daughter? But I think those were last year.
Okay.
Yeah, I just like the fact that he thinks that the Denver New England's a coin flip, and then when people call him out on it, be like, well, why is that such a bold statement, or what hot take, or whatever nonsense? Like, it's just, you don't understand how markets work. You don't really, like, he uses the Vegas line as an input for his model to determine the true line based on his stuff. Like, if your shit was good on its own, you wouldn't need to weigh it down with the true line, and then you still have fucking lines that are like 3, 4, 5 points off. So, it's just shit piled on shit.
That's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
And then no matter any criticism, no matter how valid, is a troll. Blocking those trolls. Who are these trolls to say how I can feed my daughter? I mean, you can use the feeding your daughter excuse for any behavior you can think of.
Yeah, I mean, but again, I mean, these people are, like, technically small business owners. It's like, if this was my livelihood and I had no other skills, and, like, some degenerates are making fun of me, I'd fucking mute the shit out of everybody too. It's just a shit life when, like, you can't tolerate criticism because you just, like, your stuff's so bad and you have no fucking outs. You have no life outs. Whatever. That's where you are.
But on All Outsiders, though, the not the predictive stats, but the past analytics stats are actually pretty reasonable. So
I like his annual.
Do that instead of, you know.
I like the book. I think the book is pretty good. It has some good detail because I don't watch enough football to, it's a good read. And but all the other premium nonsense is just fucking steaming Jew garbage.
So, speaking of some of your writing, Thick, I know you joined forces. I think you've wrote a couple articles for, is it cuckservative.com or something? Or
Cuck Sports. It's a new brand.
Yeah, Cuck Sports. Yeah, you're part of your new brand.
Yeah.
You've wrote a few interesting articles on here, and I know that I had Richard Deitch tweet me a few times last week. I think he was looking forward to listening to this part of the podcast. So,
Who is looking forward to listening to any of this podcast? My stars.
I don't know. If he happens to be listening, look at him as your audience for this. But describe the pieces that you actually did write for those and why you wrote them. I know we discussed a little bit about this on the podcast that I had you on in July, I believe. But kind of delve into what you discussed on those and why you felt the need to write about them.
I think I took 2 Cauldron articles to skewer in a really shitty way. And essentially, fucking admit that women get a bonus for being attractive. It's really all it is. Like, admit that maybe Katie Nolan isn't fucking really that funny, but because she's decent looking, like, she gets her own show. Like, maybe admit that fucking Lorna, like, they admit that because she took one good angle shot, like, and, one good fucking black and white picture, she has fucking 500,000 followers or whatever it is. Like, it's just admit that that's how life works. That in the last one I posted was a woman writing about it, but she called these 3 fucking randos, all women, she called them hyper talented and used these fucking phrases that were just so. I wouldn't fucking call. If it was goddamn like Hunter was I don't know, fucking name 3 of anything, like fucking Einstein, fucking Tesla, like the fucking words and phrases she used were just so over the top, like that they deserve a fucking primetime spot, like fucking this kind of thing, like it's comical the lengths that they will go to make us bad for not giving a shit what they think. I don't care if you don't think. I know most people don't give a shit what I think. That's why I'm fucking staring at my stats thing. I have like 100 views. I don't care. I'm glad I was able to post it. Like, what?
I don't know if that might have been feedback.
Whatever. But just like I don't fucking beg that much for people to like read my shit. I don't post about how you're wrong for not reading my stuff. Like fucking Katie Nolan had 12,000 people or whatever. Some funny number. She's at midnight during a weekday, and like Beach is like, man, if she just had a good intro, if she just had a good, lead in and lead out, and blah blah blah. Like fucking, come on. If she was really that good, these companies would fucking put her in good slots. But she's not, so they don't. That's all it is. And these fucking dopes think that they can run these huge corporations better than the people who are doing it, which is true about some parts. But I don't think that a 3-woman radio show that's airing from Saturday from 12 to 3 p.m. is the next Mike Francesa. Sorry.
I mean, you gotta do something different. I feel like I don't know how their radio show is set up, so I can't really say what their topics are, but I mean,
I posted it. It's their first show was about, shocker, Greg Hardy, lesbian players, and some woman in the like a women's World Cup slalom event who fucking tore her ACL or something. Like, it was all stuff that you would not give 2 dicks about. Like, it's stuff that you don't care. Like, I don't care. I don't give a shit. Fucking Greg Hardy, like, with the second he's in handcuffs, do whatever you want. Until he's in handcuffs, fucking let him play. And if his fucking stupid girlfriend doesn't want to press charges because she's too fucking addicted to the lifestyle, then fuck her. That's all. It's easy.
She could press charges if she wants. It's just her choice not to, I guess. Oh.
It's fucking fascinating.
What's your thoughts on that, Groovin?
Well, I don't really consume very much mainstream media anyway, so I barely know anything about a lot of this. But though, I mean, you know, I am, you know, much further left than a lot of people that I interact with on Twitter. But the one thing that I find incredibly pandering is when you have, the media putting people like Bomani Jones, Katie Nolan on, and they immediately need to advertise Katie Nolan. She's pretty, she's smart. I mean, I just saw a commercial. Maybe they didn't mention she's pretty, but she's smart. Bomani Jones, the smartest guy on in sports media, who is needing to justify a white guy being on TV by saying he's smart. So it's like these corporations, they want to pander to a certain, segment of their audience by putting on, non-white men, and then they feel the need to justify it by they're smart, which is
just to interject. The smartest person in sports is certainly either an Asian or a Jew. So, and it's certainly a man. So that's it. No, it's not.
But the obvious pandering is, then that, I'm not even getting into that Sarah Spain thing, but like this is supposed to be, a role model for how women advance themselves in sports.
Yeah, that story is fantastic. The eBay Super Bowl thing. It's just
I guess the easiest thing, like the one example that I really find, fascinating in some ways, is the Aroldis Chapman. Whatever happened there. There are so many different ways you can look at it. Greg Hardy and Ray Rice, they're obviously pieces of shit. But Aroldis Chapman was in some incident where, different reports of who did what, and brother and the sister were there and whatever it was. But what no one seems to focus on, number one, baseball has these Cuban players that essentially come to the U.S. They literally have to be human trafficked over here. It's Cuba. It's a third world country that has a lot of fucked up shit going on. And there's some really, when Yasiel Puig came over, there's some really interesting stuff if you look it up. And like with Puig, when he acts like a knucklehead for a little bit, well, he's 23, 24 years old. And he grew up in a shitty country and then had to literally be trafficked to get here to play. And, Major League Baseball isn't, they're turning a blind eye to it, basically. Like, oh, well, we have these Cubans here to play baseball, whatever. But so, Chapman, coming from a different culture, comes here however the hell he got here. And whatever happened, it seems like the worst, that he shot a gun into a cinder block wall 8 times or something, which isn't even illegal, apparently, because it's Florida, and, it's Florida. But, these bloggers, it's domestic abuse. He shot a gun 8 times, but you didn't shoot it at anybody. Like, you're imposing your American, I don't want to say liberal per se, because I know plenty of liberals from rural areas where they hunt and guns are guns. But maybe like an urban liberal standard, what are you going to call it, where guns are somehow like, oh, a gun was involved. But what does a Latin American dude from Cuba do when he's angry? He shoots a gun in the wall, whereas someone here might this. I don't know. You have to
double train there.
You have to have some cultural normalization here for this. But if people were really concerned about having societal change with some of the shit these athletes do, you kind of have to start with the fact that a lot of them are basically, treated and raised through athletics to be psychopaths and sociopaths. Like what the Papelbon and Bryce Harper, that train wreck of a Nationals team. Pretty much the only player that had a great year was Bryce Harper. He kicked ass. And then the last game, not the last game, but the last week of the season, whatever Papelbon was getting on him about, he didn't run out a pop-up or something, or a ground ball. That's going to affect the outcome of the game by a fraction of a percent. And, this knucklehead who has to show how tough he is decides to go choke the best player on the team. And a lot of the, it's good that athletes keep each other in line, blah, 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 blah. But isn't the kind of attitude that makes someone react to a teammate doing something they disagree with to go up and choke the guy? Isn't that kind of the same attitude that is going to make someone to get into a fight with their girlfriend also become physically violent? Like, shouldn't, we be focusing more on that kind of, what makes these athletes behave the way they do and how they're treated differently and how they're raised to act differently, as opposed to, writing, wow, Greg Hardy's a piece of shit. Well, tell us something we don't know.
Can we talk about Clay Travis for a bit? I like Clay Travis.
All right, go for it.
Go for it. Yeah.
No, he's such a shithead. I'm gonna do periscopes where I just fucking watch TV shows and have hundreds of thousands of people click it because they're all fucking donkeys. God, fucking everyone sucks.
So is in your guys, you going into one of the listener questions, I should say. I believe this was Plus EV Analytics was asking which one of your mortal enemies is greater threat to the future of humanity, PC bloggers or touts?
PC bloggers. Then not particularly. That's a shitty question. I can't really run with that. I'm kind of, I don't know. I got nothing on it.
I guess that easiest way I can, not to answer that question specifically, but a PC blogger or whatever, if all they're doing is talking about whatever, that's one thing. But the one thing that I find I consider myself, pretty left-wing, but a social libertarian as opposed to a liberal, which I think is an important distinction in that people, they should basically be able to do what they want as long as they don't infringe on other people's freedoms.
You fucking communist.
But if, so if someone, like the one funny thing I saw with, extreme PC blogging was something on Huffington Post with that. There was a lady on Jeopardy that had kind of an annoying voice, and people were making fun of her online, and obviously it had nothing to do with gender, but it's an attack on women that they're making fun of how this woman talks. Like, oh, come on. I mean, there are many issues that affect women, but the way that person talks is really not one of them. But what I find very disturbing, and this is, you can look at examples from college campuses going back about, 25, not 30 years, but where people say something that gets interpreted as offensive and then they lose their jobs over it, or they, have school sanctions, like that example, what was it, the big dongle joke or whatever that was?
Oh yeah, Donglegate. The fucking two guys in a conference, like just talking and just making a dongle dick joke, and a woman turned around or took a secret picture of them and then fucking got them fired.
Right, and they weren't. I mean, I know, plenty of women in tech fields, science fields, and it can be a very abusive and hostile environment, and that kind of shit shouldn't happen. But there is a tremendous difference between a hostile work environment and being openly sexually harassed versus two guys quietly making a joke to each other about, a big dongle. If something that, said in basically to each other, if you hear it and you find it offensive, the onus should be on you to say, hey, knock it off. That's not appropriate. And they probably would have said, "I'm sorry." But taking a picture and uploading it and getting those guys fired, like, I mean, come on, like, there are people that will overreact to stuff like that. No, it isn't even necessarily a gender thing. I mean, people overreact to all sorts of shit. But that kind of stuff is, political correctness gone amok, which obviously doesn't affect me because I don't have a job and I don't pay my child support. But I don't know.
Yeah, pay your child support.
That damn Haven, where is it?
All right. So before we get into more listener questions, you did add Groovin, you did add a little bit that you wanted to talk about Super Bowl props for the the timeliness and at least one gambling aspect of this podcast be about gambling, I should say. So get into what you wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, just for the poor souls that have listened to this whole thing for this long, just to give some sort of content. The easiest way, people all the time ask me, do you have a pick on the game? And who do you like in the game? And it doesn't work that way because I'm, a better, not a handicapper, basically. And no matter how good the odds are, you still need the right way to bet it. We went over that last time, Brian. But the one easy way that you consistently get value in a Super Bowl prop that I've been finding is on the obvious bet is probably going to be the bet that there won't be a safety in the Super Bowl. In the regular season, you're looking at roughly 7% of games will have a safety. And I mean, you can argue in the Super Bowl, safeties might be more common because, for example, a team might concede a safety late rather than punt out of the end zone. Just to be careful because of Super Bowl, we don't want to look like an idiot that goes back on you, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. But typically, if you shop around without even trying that hard, you can get like minus 800 on no safety. I mean, in Vegas last year, there were 650s, even minus 600s popping up. And it's because every trapezoid in the world thinks that, oh, you can never lay chalk. Like the Kelly in Vegas, the Jason McIntyres, these idiots. Oh, there's no value in that. It's minus 400. They'll often mock that kind of stuff. So if, I don't even know who's going to be playing in the Super Bowl, obviously, but I'm almost certain you'll be able to get no safety around, without even looking too hard, minus 800 or better. The same tends to hold true on no overtime, but to quote a fair price would vary based on the total. And I don't know if the new overtime rules will make teams more willing to play for overtime. But just two other quick gambling comments I was going to make. I get a lot of questions about live betting, and what you really need to be careful about live betting is a lot of books, when you submit a live bet, will put your bet into a queue, and they'll take about 30 seconds to decide what they're going to do with it, and you have no way to delete it. So a book like that, you really don't want to be submitting a bet during an NBA game or during a tennis match when it's not at a break. Like, you need a 1-minute break to do that. And, it seems obvious, but a lot of people don't know that. And one more quick comment before we go into the rest of the nonsense. I also get, if I mention I like a particular side or a particular total, whatever, people will say, well, why do you like that? What's your thought process? And it's never anything more advanced than, well, I like under 45 because I think the line should be 44. But anytime you listen to a tout or a Furman or a RJ or whoever giving their analysis, you need to remember that edges on sports bets are extremely small. Mm-hmm. So the same narrative that they could be giving for why they like under 45 should apply to under 44 because it's just, I think, Seattle has a good defense. Or, this player can contain this player. The narrative does not apply to that subtle couple percent edge.
Train.
And by the way, I figured I should advertise to people that this is the first of well, there's the last of very few remaining pods where there's going to be trains. Is going to be moving out of the city probably within the next 3 months. So enjoy the trains while you can, people.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah,
Moving on up.
Yeah. So, anyways, before the train rudely cut you off.
No, I said enough. I babbled for a bit, but for any idiot who felt the need to listen for that long, I figured I should give a little content of some form.
Sure. Well, we can touch base on a little more of the gambling questions here, but I don't know how we want to go about all of these listener questions here. I don't know if you guys have the outline in front of you or not, but I was thinking we're not going to go through all of these questions because I think there had to be about like 50 of them. We could go on in a little bit of order. I know that I organized them a little bit by Twitter-based, gambling Twitter, food Twitter, life, and then like Realist Dan sent like 20 of them while I was getting a haircut the other day. So I don't know. The ones I have at the top here are Twitter-based. I don't know if any of those catch your eye, Groovin, that you wanted to maybe answer. Either from Learn Doc or Conk or whoever it might be.
Let me see.
Because there were so many questions, I don't even know where to start, which ones you might even want to answer. Now, do you have the outline in front of you, Thick, or no?
No, I don't. Shocker.
Okay.
Shocker.
Yeah.
I'm getting back.
All right. So one of them, I guess I could ask for Learn Doc that would apply to both of you is how do each of you plan on expanding your brand in 2016?
Jesus. Groovin, you take that one.
Self-immolation on live camera. What better way? Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I actually like writing the bullshit blogs. It's good to get the hate out. Helps me, helps me on the insides. So I like that. It's not going to go anywhere, and there's no, I'm not going to become a full-time sports blogger. Whatever.
Actually, I was kidding with that answer. I'm really not going to burn myself on fire. But no, a friend of mine was telling me that
you should.
Oh, really. Everyone feed off me. I got enough fat. But a friend was saying, well, you have enough people reading. You should really start a blog just because I get the same questions over and over again. Like a lot of, what tout should I buy picks from? And they want to pay $25 to bet $200 and drink a beer. I'm like, no one's that good. So I mean, I'm sure eventually I'll get around to writing a blog with just frequently asked questions, just to so I can link to something.
I think my favorite part about the internet is that fucking nobody makes money off it. Like everybody fucking really no one can monetize this shit. It's such garbage. Like there's no fucking I'm gonna be a blogger. Like okay, good luck. Like it's incredible. Fucking figured it out. There are very few people who can make even some kind of living writing online or selling things online, like selling, links or selling ticks or anything. It's incredibly hard. It's just very fun to watch.
All right, so I don't know if you had time to think about your answer to that question, Thick.
What, a brand? My brand? No, my brand's dead.
Okay.
That was easy.
Okay.
I forgot there were two further up. In the scroll down, I forgot about the just real quick the topical to the now that I'm public enemy of black sports online. In terms of 2015, one of the more sickening things is this Vegas Dave idiot who is a clear trust fund kid who openly admits that he busted his, the money his parents gave him several times, went into Gamblers Anonymous, and he apparently learned in Gamblers Anonymous how he should be gambling more, which makes no sense to me. But so he, makes these World Series bets that, I'm sure he hedged, but whatever. Oh, the media is like, oh, he has these winning Kansas City Royals bets. He hires a PR person who happens to be a black lady, and now he's getting all these fluff pieces on Black Sports Online. So, like, well, why are you promoting? He's not black. He's, I don't know, what, he's Hawaiian, I guess.
Yeah, I think he's some kind of island man.
Train. Yeah, I was told to mute myself here. I should probably start doing that when that comes by, but whatever.
The only way you make money. How do you not do that?
So Vegas Dave.
Oh yeah, but so his PR lady's telling me that you're ignorant because Black Sports Online is to give a platform for all minorities. Like, all right, well, a Pacific Islander, all right, fine, but why are you giving a platform to a guy who is very visibly scamming people? Like, nobody picks 125 out of 128 winners in baseball, and you're ignorant, and which it's his PR person, so that's obviously what she's supposed to do. But it just amazes me that there are that many media people who eat that up. Like, how do you think he possibly does that? Well, he doesn't. But the PR person sends him something, and it'll get ratings. So here's this guy, and he's got a Ferrari now because he won all this money on that. And obviously the guy's a degen, and he'll either OD or go broke eventually. I mean, there's a reason why he's not allowed to hide anymore. But he isn't even just selling picks; he's selling a martingale system. Where he's having you double down and triple down and quadruple down, and so there are going to be idiots that are going to start betting, I don't know, $500 on one of his games, and by the fourth game they're going to be betting, the last $40,000 they have, and they're going to go broke. I mean, it's on them, but how are these media idiots thinking this is actually something legitimate?
They don't. They just want easy shit.
Well, no, I know.
I mean, they never fact check anything anymore. Right. So, I mean, that much is apparent.
Yeah, pretty much everything critical I say. Why are they doing this? Well, because it'll make them money. Like, I mean, I know that, but
yeah, it's easy to figure out. It's just like, don't pretend to be a journalist, or don't pretend to, I guess maybe they're not pretending to be journalists. I don't know. It's all clickbait for the most part. So
everything on the internet's clickbait.
Yeah. All right, so there's a couple other Twitter questions here. Conk was asking your favorite parody account on here.
Mine has to be that Mel Betts girl.
Yeah, she's good.
I was fooled by that. I actually thought for a good month it was Andy Fezzik. And then when someone told me, oh, no, that's got to be someone in the loop, and because I had just kind of figured out who Seville was. Like, I was added to the Seville list before I knew who any of these people were. And I'm like getting my, and I didn't realize there would be people parroting it. And then for like another 6 months, I forget who I thought it was. I think I thought it was Ari Betts, because Ari Betts was the first follower of Mel Betts. Yeah. I don't know who Mel Betts is, but whoever it was, I was fooled for a very long time. Not like, seriously, but that guy Ari Baumtone or something, the one that he's in the Gen tweet thing because he got some Royals game to put his tweet on the thing for Faith Day.
Yeah.
Blessed. What about you, Thick? What's your favorite parody account on here?
Degen John Kelly, no contest. Okay. He's fantastic. A parody of a guy who's been dead for a little bit, and just a fantastic individual, great account. At Degen John Kelly. Second place is at Conk7.
Oh, great! That's a great parody.
Parody of a man, of a mannish person. So yeah, it's It's decent. I can't. He has like 1,000 followers. Fucking weird.
Yeah, let's get that under 1,000 again, so that he'll start tweeting corporations again that follow him.
That was easily one of the worst days of my life. I don't know if it was last year or this year, but he wanted to get 1,000 followers, so I said I would listen to the Russian Rickroll until he got 1,000, thinking, oh yeah, a couple of my followers will save me from this. I listened to that shit for about 4 hours.
What possessed you to
Yeah, that's fucking dumb.
hurt
It's
yourself?
so stupid, but why do I do anything? Everything I do on here is stupid. But I have like 2,000 followers. I figured like 3 of them would, I'll follow this guy.
Oh my god, we still have 50. There's more than 50 people listening to this. This is so stupid.
I don't know. Did that muting of the microphone stop the train sound there? Because I tried to do that for the courtesy of my listeners there, but
Didn't even know there was a train. Good job.
okay, good. All right. So I think that covers. Well, there was one other Twitter question I wanted. Twitter-related question here was, who does Philly Godfather sick the Hells Angels on first, Anonymous Gambler or Groovin?
He already tried on both of us and didn't get very far.
He's a fascinating dude.
The amazing thing about that guy is he knows that he doesn't win, but yet he actually thinks he's helping people, which is such a. I actually believe that. Like, he thinks that, well, they'd lose more if it wasn't for me, and I'm only charging a few bucks a day, which is a pretty interesting level of self-delusion. But,
I enjoy his Delaware Park parlay cards for like $100.
There's a question further down, I think, which I think I pasted in, but someone asked me who my favorite touts were. And in terms of the people that you can just laugh at, I mean, obviously Kelly's hilarious and Fezzik too. Oh, but yeah, Philly Godfather's great too. We'll go on these long spiels about all these fake pro gamblers. And every day, he's reminding you to read his book. Like, all right, so you're making, millions of dollars, but every day you have to promote your goofy little book. All right.
Yeah, I was in gaming the game.
All right. So let's see. We do have a few gambling. I guess we could touch base on a little gambling Twitter questions here. One from SB John 12 for you, Groovin, was how long did you bet before you realized you would, should, could, or can do this full time?
I mean, I had already been playing poker since I was, 20, 21. So sports was just something to dabble into, and then, so I mean, I always had a fallback. So, it's kind of hard to answer specifically, but like I always tell people, I get, countless questions like, what do you suggest if someone wants to do this full time? But it's so much different now because, 13 or 12, 10, whatever, 13 years ago, you did all these offshore books you could easily deposit at the net teller, get deposit bonuses and blah, blah, blah. You didn't even need to be that good to make a lot of money. We're also, books with off-market lines. So, it really didn't take me long at all, but it was substantially different then. So it's kind of, it's not something you can really compare it to today.
Okay. All right. One of the next gambling-related ones, this is an etiquette question from Realist Dan. He was asking, with pool season mostly over, please discuss etiquette for tipping, cut, etc. for runners.
If they don't take, first of all, anybody who takes any cut of any pool does not get a tip. That's first and foremost. So the guy's like, even if he's saying it's a pay, I was in a pool with Dan and a couple of the guys, and it's like the guy's like, oh, it's a $2 or $1.50 PayPal fee. Like if